If you've seen the 80s musical film Little Shop of Horrors, there's that magical scene with the dentist guy. Actually, I really love that scene. I just smile every time I think about that whole entire scene. That Ghostbusters guy popping. I was like, oh, I can't wait to feel pain. And I just think that was a great scene. Anyhow, I'm getting off topic. So there's like a little kid wearing a very terrifying piece of headgear. That thing at a distance looks terrifying. And the kid is screaming as if he's in pain. But if you actually look at the screen, that thing is not hooked up to him. Like, that thing is not hurting him. He's just wearing a scary looking thing on his head, and it's not hooked up at all. But if you know people who really had those sort of orthodontics things put on them, they hurt a lot. They won't stop fidgeting. They're clearly in distress. You look at their eyes, they're just twitching and trying to hide the pain. They're in pain. You see things like the kid with the fake orthodontia mask, whatever it was in Little Shop of Horror, when you look at the fake primitive tribes mutilating themselves and scarring themselves up. They're just nothing but edgelords. And, you know, the plate lip piercings, those lips sometimes look like weird gummy stuff, like something similar to gummy candy. I mean, that stuff is so easy to make. And just those painful looking things that they're wearing are probably not hooked up at all. Probably just Photoshop. Or paranoia fuel. And it's also trying to just get you to hate other people. Like, the way the great apes are designed is just hideously offensive. Their faces are based on casts of people from Africa who decided to go along with this crap, and I don't understand why you would do that. I know that nobody has any place to tell other people how to feel, but if you're descended from those ethnic groups, you should be extremely outraged that there are these horribly offensive fake animals based on casts from people that are similar to you. And Bigfoot is a big joke about this. Oh, you don't believe in Bigfoot, but you believe in gorillas. They're both equally valid. Back onto the tranny churches and their pet ooga boogas. So they're always gonna have duping delight, and they're always gonna bring along some trannies from these other countries, and they're gonna have some horrifying horror tale to pull on your heartstrings and make you feel bad and make you feel guilty for living in the first world, when probably all around the world everybody's heard of Jesus Christ. So the controllers are just trying to make you think that there are people that haven't heard of Jesus. Or even Japan, they'll pretend they haven't heard of Jesus, but they're obsessed with Christian iconography and Catholic iconography, but Catholicism is fake Christianity, but you know what I'm talking about. Just groups of people playing dumb, saying, oh, I've never heard of the Messiah, and then they're using all the icons that are associated with them. But you shouldn't have icons either on this topic. So, you know, when you really think about communication, it doesn't make sense. For instance, one thing I could never understand or make sense of was how if the English settlers on North America never previously met the Native Americans, how could they ever establish a communication? That just reeks of bullshit. You know how difficult it can be to communicate with a person who doesn't speak any of your language and you don't speak any of theirs. How are you going to get around communicating? You just have to, like, gesture and point and then get really mad and aggravated when the other person doesn't understand. Just how the hell could the English people suddenly communicate fluidly with Native Americans when they've never previously contacted? Just no, okay? No, doesn't work like that. So all of these churches are gonna have their pet Ooga Booga tribe from Doesn't Exististan. Like, they're gonna find some really, probably a hoax, or really, really isolated, hard to find, impossible to get to spot on the map where everyone's Islamic and they've never heard of Jesus, and also Islam is a fake religion so you can sleep soundly at night. Don't worry, the dancing dick girls aren't gonna rape you. Oh, and they don't blow up either. Like, no, that's just a fear hoax. They don't explode. Sorry. But these liars at the church, they have these duping delight stories where they'll giggle and laugh about how they were going to a war-torn country. Burma is a good example of some shit's going on here. Like, someone's telling lies here. So the fat trannies are going to have a spray tan and they're going to be laughing and smiling as they talk about children getting their arms cut off and then their bellies sliced open. That does not happen. Okay? They are lying. That's why they're laughing. Duping delight. And they're gonna have some people come over with a fake foreign accent and go, oh yeah, we totally did that. You won't believe all the people I killed before I was saved by Phoenician tranny Jesus. And sometimes they even like just bust up laughing. And actually, I'm going to talk about this separately. Something I find very odd is the fact that crying, like sobbing, and laughing sound so alike. Several times I've confused the sounds of crying with laughter. There is definitely a connection there. Anyhow, so they would start laughing and then they would pretend that they were crying but no tears were coming out. But you know that whole, ew, I'm crying face where they scrunch up their face like you just blasted them with onion juice and they go, and they pull out their nose hairs or something to make themselves tear up. Oh, Castrati loved to fake cry and they get so angry and it doesn't work. But yeah, so this fat, jiggly, spray-tan tranny's going to talk about how he was leading a group of the poor, starving savages through a jungle. Like, first of all, how is this fatty, fat ass going to navigate a jungle that he or she has never gone through? Why wouldn't the natives know more about navigating the jungle? And they would talk about dodging enemy fire and dodging landmines. Landmines are a hoax. And the whole enemy fire thing, it's like they're pretending their lives are Star Wars or something. Yeah, every day is Halloween for these guys. And just how come people don't come out and question it like, oh yeah, your fat blobby ass can run over a bunch of landmines and escape being shot at, and you're leading a group of 20 starving brown kids with ratty shirt. Like, quit believing that. And, you know, landmines are definitely a hoax. And it's been pointed out that people are often born missing limbs, that they just come up with a story like, oh, I got eaten by a great white shark, oh, I got eaten by a bear, oh, I stepped on a landmine, oh, my house burned down. Just things like that. And I'm going to have to re-record the house fire thing, because that is suspicious all over. So the tranny church people are gonna beg for donations, say, oh, for $6 you can buy a whole truck, cause something about the exchange rate, and like, that's a lie too, okay? Seriously, that's a lie. And what they really do with the money is one thing everybody has noticed in the areas that I'm talking about, where there would be a whole bunch of this money laundering crap going on. The main tranny preacher would just be buying ATVs and small airplanes and building new additions to his transsion. Like, really shameless stuff. It was so obvious the guy was pocketing the money. Also, he's, like, really diseased and bald and shriveled up. He looks like he got hit by a tank. Tank's sort of a fake thing. Anyway. Well, each and every single one of them is just gonna have some poor oppressed pet tribe of trannies living in Urkadurkistan. How the hell can they communicate if they're that isolated? And how many years has this church been partnered with them and they still haven't learned about Jesus? Like, seriously. They're gonna do ministry work for 10 years and no one's talking about Jesus? Like, come on. It's nothing but money laundering and guilt tripping. Playing with your emotions is their favorite thing to do, so quit giving them your emotions. Just call them fat liars and ignore them and don't give them money ever.